Yeah. Welcome to the MLH Series podcast of by Decode Cafe. Here is our one of the speaker of our MLH series, Harshal Raikwar. He has he has a MLH Fellow as well as a MLH Prep in the from last year MLH series. Welcome Harshal in this series. So let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Harshal Raikwar. I was a part of MLH Fellowship in summer 2022, where I contributed to Solana Labs, and in 2021, I was a Prep Fellow. So, this is all about me.
Okay. So how let you know about this MLH fellowship first from Google or in YouTube where you found it?
Yeah, so I participated in a MLH partner hackathon. From there, I get to know about what MLH is. Then, after I joined the MLH Discord server, I get to know about MLH Fellowship and what it is, how to participate in it, and what are the perks. So, like this, way I get to know about MLH Fellowship.
Okay, so you have both experience like MLH Prep and MLH Fellow. So in the MLH Prep, how can you describe in briefly describe how what's the MLH Prep Fellow MLH Prep application procedure and what is the MLH Fellow procedure application procedure and what's the difference between both of them?
So let me first start with the difference. So MLH Fellowship is a 12-week program where you contribute to different organization, and MLH Prep is like a preparation for MLH Fellowship. MLH Prep is only 3 weeks, where you learn and build projects in a small group, which we call pods. So there you work and contribute to a project in groups. So there you get to learn about new technologies, and the application process for both is same. The only major difference is that the technical interview for the MLH fellowship, you need to show the code and explain it, and the person who is taking your interview will ask some questions regarding it. But for MLH prep, you don't need to show the code, you just need to explain what your code does and what your code sample is made for. So this is the only difference.
Okay, so in briefly we can say this MLH prep is just the beginning of journey. You have to not any skillful
Yeah.
in the technical background and MLH fellowship. You have like very strong technical background. You have to understanding of the technologies and like that.
You need some technical background for MLH prep, but like they will teach you more if you don't have that. But like you work on new technologies when you are working in MLH prep.
Okay, that's great. And which technology we are like while applying, you have to select your own technology, or they have just say कि you have to work on this technology.
So the projects are assigned to the skills you have. So let's say if you are good at Python, so the project which you will be working on, which will be related to Python. Like I was good at TypeScript, so the project I was contributing to, I contributed in TypeScript language. Some are good at Rust, so they work on that. So the projects are given according to the skills you have.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so there is the next question. Uh, how was the fellowship helped you as a grow as a developer?
Yeah, so fellowship actually helped a lot because like the first time I was working on the software which was used by millions of people. So when you work on that kind of software, you learn about new things like how the code is getting to, like how to work on a production level code. What are the steps once you push the code and it get deployed? What are the things going on in between them? And how can you contribute? How can you collaborate with other developers while working on your own, and like how to effectively communicate with the team members and the mentors assigned to you. So it teaches you a lot of things apart from technical skills. It also teaches you how to be good at communication skills. So this really helped me a lot.
Okay, so like MLS fellowship, yeah, grows you as a developer, and your personality skills will be developed while the whole of the program.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so how after the you have applied as a first of all prep fellow, and after the prep fellow, have you applied another open source exam? Or like just after you have applied for the fellowship program?
After graduating from Prep Fellowship, I applied for the MLH Fellowship program.
Okay, and have you experience with another open source programs other than MLS fellowship?
No,
Oh,
MLH Fellowship was the one which I contributed to.
okay, so like while working with the MLS fellowship, like there is a MLS prep is 3 week program and MLS fellowship is a 12-week long program. So how to communicate with all of your team members, like how the meetups are going on and how to work on that. Like there is an contributing your on merge conflicts and all of that. So how you manage? Like there is a leader or what kind of thing they manage all of the things.
Yes, so like in MLH Fellowship, we work in the group of 10 to 15 people, which we call a pod, and every pod has a pod leader. So we used to have meeting on every alternative day. Uh, so you can in every meeting you can just say what you did in today, what are your block, if you had any issues which we call blockers, and let's say if you were having a bug which you were not able to solve, you can set a meet with your mentors and you both can come to a meet and resolve whatever the bugs are. Or let's say you are stuck anywhere, and due to that you cannot like continue the work. You can ask your mentors like if they can assign it to someone else, because like maybe happen like because due to some exams or practicals you were not able to contribute to that part, and that feature was needed to be implemented as soon as possible. So you can also do all these discussions in the daily meetings.
Okay, so there is a very collaborative an interactive environment with your fellows and of the leader. Also, that's a great thing. So in the MLS fellow, like MLS fellowship, you have to submit one of the your project to showcase your. So what kind of project have you applied, and what's the suggestion to anyone who is applying for the MLS fellowship to make project guides?
Yeah, so the project which I gave as a code sample was a application where you can learn different concepts with the help of 3D model and augmented reality, and it was built on Next, and I've used TypeScript in that. So this was the project which I submitted. The suggestions which I would like to give others would be to submit a project that you have made by yourself. Just don't make a project by following a tutorial and just submit it. Try to make a project which is actually solving a problem, so that would have more impact. And try to create a proper readme for your GitHub. So GitHub readme plays a major role in MLH Fellowship, because when you submit your code sample, the first thing they will check is the how good your readme is. So if your readme is well documented, then it is better.
Okay, so that's it. And like while project is some of the students are saying like I have built a whole project as a one and push it on GitHub is in a one commit. So it is do that you have to while you are building project just push your commits on the GitHub like regularly basis. What's your suggestion about it?
My suggestion would be to push your changes regularly, because it is a good GitHub, it is a good habit for committing each and every message. And I would avoid to push complete code at one go, because like let's say if you have any bug, you can just go to your previous commit and make changes to it. This you cannot do while pushing your code completely in one commit. So it would cause some problem in future when you make some changes in the project. So I would suggest to regularly commit your code instead of committing the whole project at once.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, tip for the every beginner in the like there is for applying MLS fellowship. And in the MLS fellowship, what kind of project you have worked on?
So I was working with Solana Labs. So the project which I contributed to was Solana FM. So our major tech stack was, first it was React, then we switched from React to Next. next, and we were working with the TypeScript. So this was the tech stack which I was working on. Few of my teammates were working on Rust as well.
Okay, that's great. And like before, have you applied for MLS fellowship? Have you a prior experience like high experience your tech stack? Yeah, just after going in like just barely with the basic knowledge you have go applied into the MLS fellowship.
I had some prior experience before applying to fellowship while working on the tech stack.
Okay, that's great. Like everyone is saying like open source is the future. So how the MLS fellowship is evolve you as a developer in the open source journey? How is helping all of the students developers in their open source starting of the open source journey? What's your opinion about it?
So MLH actually really helped a lot because like on weekly basis we had so many workshops on different topics, and it was conducted by the industry leaders, like someone from sometimes from Microsoft, someone from Google, or someone from Facebook. So you learn a lot from them. Secondly, you get to contribute to the projects which are used by millions of people. So let's say AWS Amplify take parts in MLH fellowships. So you get a chance to contribute to AWS Amplify, which is used by millions of people. Third, I would say you get to work upon the code which are production ready. So you learn a lot about how industry level projects are worked, how to work with them, and most importantly, you learn how to collaborate with other developers. So this is the I think these are the points which I think MLH Fellowship has taught me.
So that's great. Like MLS fellowship as a student, you have to build an industry ready person, like working on real life projects and building a product which helps a lot of people. Have you mentioned AWS amplifier and all of that? So while the MLS fellowship and going on, what's the challenges you have faced and how you overcome them? Some of the challenges like 12-week
Uh,
long program and all of that, manage all of the stuffs and all.
Yeah, so time management could be a difficult in the starting of the fellowship, but after some time you can cover it up because you have to take care of your college work and then your self study and then MLH fellowship. So it is gonna take some time to getting adjust with the your time schedule and MLH schedule, but after a few weeks you will learn to manage the time and how can you effectively contribute to MLH fellowship plus do your college studies and personal work as well. So it will take time, but you will eventually learn it.
Yeah, so time management is the major role of like
Yeah.
after the completing your MLS fellowship. How's your like MLS fellowship? You have mentioned I have done the MLS fellowship. How it's helped you in your future career? Like any opportunity you have take based on this. I have completed the MLS fellowship. Any opportunity you have gotten on that basis?
Yeah, so like before taking part in MLH Fellowship, I was not that much good at TypeScript. I was just a beginner. So MLH Fellowship taught me how to work with TypeScript, and it was like really helpful in my technical interviews because like nowadays many companies are using TypeScript upon JavaScript. So that really helped me in terms of my interviews. Plus, the communication skills which I learned from MLH Fellowship really helped me in my technical and HR rounds.
That's great. And like, so communication skills is the key which is learned by the MLS fellowship and technical background. So like in the application procedure, there is a like essay questions and projects also. So what is the some of the tips here you have to give like writing the essay, you have to follow these tips and don't do's and don'ts for that.
Yeah, so for answering the essay questions, I would suggest instead of writing brief answer, explain each and every answer very well, and try to answer all the three questions, and like just be honest be honest with your application, and yeah, that's it.
That's it. And like after the application is approved, so how much time it take to answer of that applications?
I think around 15 days after you submit your application, they will review it, and then you can book your first interview.
Okay, so like first interview. So there is also an first interview is for about what, a technical interview or HR round like that.
No, first interview, in that interview they will ask normal questions like are you eligible for the program or not, and some of the questions which you answered in application, and sometimes a little bit about your project, like what it does, how you build it. So it will be like around roughly 15 minutes interview.
Okay. And after the first interview completion, there is a second interview of like technical, how you have to some showcase
Yeah.
your project.
Yeah, the code sample, you need to show the code sample and explain it, and the interviewer will ask questions.
Okay, on the basis of only your projects and which tech
Yes,
stack
yes,
you use.
yes. Yeah, yes.
Okay. So, like, currently, after the MLH fellowship, you have done this, so you have grabbed the many opportunities. So, any other programs like after MLH, you have no, okay, you have to apply for that. This is also as helpful in your open source journey.
Well, there are many open source program. If you want, you can take part in that. Like recently, Google Summer of Code is also going to start. Maybe the application process is also started. If you want, you can try that as well. And like there are many open source program nowadays are launched. So MLH Fellowship is one of them. If you are like passionate about open source and open source program, you should definitely try it.
Yeah, sure. And there's the last question, like in the open source, like while you are open source, you start your open source journey. What is the do's and don'ts of that? Like you have to note, like strictly don't follow these things there or of the things. Only in 2 or 3 points. What's the major those you have to showcase?
Yeah. So the first point will be like while working on any open source product, like let's say if you create an issue and if you have any doubts, just after submitting an issue, just wait for 2 or 3 days, because the maintainers are like working not working on a single project, they are working on multiple projects, so it might take some time to get answers from them. Secondly, if you like, if it has been more than a week or something, you can just put a message on the social media handles or write them an email. And the third thing is like I see like a lot of people just put up the questions, and instead of searching them in documentation, they just put up so many issues which can be solved by just looking at the document. So referring the document while working on any open source project is like the first point. So if you just refer the document and follow the things, you can solve half of the problems that you might face.
Okay, so like in the open source, you have to grab the habit of reading all the documentation, like just not the this is the issue and post here, like this is my code, and you have to be patient and the
Yes.
reading habit of that.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone, that's all about this. This is the end of our this MLS series podcast episode with Harshal. So hope you like it by the Decode Cafe community. So bye, Harshal.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.